sometimes have intense headaches in the month before a heart attack. And they may be associated with difficulty in thinking clearly or remembering things. 7th is arm discomfort. Now, unlike men who have arm symptoms during a heart attack, women can have them in the month before a heart attack. And for women, arm discomfort is usually described as arm weakness, arm heaviness, arm achiness, arm numbness. And then there's one other thing that's really confusing. Menopause itself is associated with palpitations. Palpitations are rapid heartbeats, and they are very common during hot flashes. So, you would expect palpitations to be one of the symptoms of a heart attack, but they aren't. Unfortunately, more women seek medical help for palpitations than they do for heart attacks. And that's because palpitations involve your heart. But most of the symptoms of an actual heart attack in a woman are not symptoms that a woman associates with her heart. So as you can see, this is a very problematic area. And unfortunately, because heart attack symptoms are so different in men than they are in women, doctors often fail to recognize a heart attack in a woman. Women are much less likely to get the proper diagnostic procedures. They are much less likely to get referred to a cardiac specialist. They are much less likely to undergo cardiac surgery, and they are much more likely to die from a heart attack. The difference in mortality from heart attacks between men and women is extremely significant. And one of the reasons the mortality rate for women is so high is because women and medical professionals aren't aware of the differences that I've presented here to you today. But everything that's different about heart attacks in women enables you to get help in plenty of time. So listen to this podcast again and again. Go to my YouTube channel and watch the video on the symptoms of heart attack in women. Make sure, absolutely sure you remember it. And I made a chart of these differences that's on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to menopausetaylor.me, click on the tab that says YouTube Video Tutorials. It'll have a drop-down menu that says Charts. Go to the charts, and you'll see a chart that depicts the differences in heart attacks between men and women and delineates the specifics of heart attacks in women. And when you look at this chart, you can see so clearly how much more straightforward and simple heart attacks are in men than they are in women. It's shocking, really. And it's organized just like I presented it in this podcast: location, sensation, and the symptoms that can accompany a heart attack. For every one of those categories, men have very limited presentations, whereas women have many different possibilities. Print out the chart. Keep it somewhere that makes it easily accessible. Memorize it. Do whatever you have to do to ensure that you don't miss the symptoms of a heart attack. And this is such an important thing for all women to know. Women fall through the cracks all the time. The common scenario is a woman who does go to the emergency room for something that feels like something's wrong. She may go to the emergency room for any of the symptoms I presented, and they're commonly misdiagnosed as indigestion and sent home, and they have heart attacks, and when they get home, and they die. It happens all the time. Do not let anyone send you home from an emergency room until they have proven to you that you do not have a heart attack. You are not having a heart attack, or that you have not had a heart attack. Demand a full cardiac workup. You can do that. If you have anything I've talked about today, number one, call 911. Do not drive yourself. Do not get Uber. Do not let anyone take you. Call 911. Go to an emergency room and demand a full evaluation. Please. You will be absolutely shocked at what turns out to be an actual heart attack. This is so critical for all women to know. And the sad thing is, as I've taught you, Not only do women not even have heart attacks on their radar, not only are they all focusing on breast cancer instead of heart attacks, but they don't know that heart attacks are the biggest killer of all women, and they don't even know what the symptoms of a heart attack are. They don't know how to recognize it at all. And they certainly don't go to an emergency room for something that they don't consider to be any big deal because they don't know it's a heart attack. Think about that. Think about why heart attacks are so deadly for women. They don't know they're having them. So men and women are not the same. You know, there's a fantastic book called Women Are Not Small Men. I love this book. Women Are Not Small Men. It is written by Niejka Goldberg, MD. She's a cardiologist, and she has a cardiac, practice, a whole research center dedicated to women. And she writes this book for women about all these differences about heart attacks in women. And you should really read this book. All women should read her book because you deserve to know what a heart attack looks like in a woman, how to recognize it in a woman. And you can help your friends too, because if you know and they don't know, you can diagnose it. You can realize that a woman's probably having a heart attack even when she doesn't know it, and you can be the one to call 911 and save her life. This is such a huge, huge, huge problem. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you and every other woman on the planet to know how to recognize a heart attack in a woman. Heart attacks kill more women than all the cancers combined, and yet women don't know how to recognize a heart attack, and a lot of doctors don't know how to recognize a heart attack. That is insane. Absolutely insane. This education will save your life. This is why I am so dogmatic about giving this education in every way I possibly can. It is why I beg you to watch videos in order, listen to the podcast in order, read the book in order, watch websites. Whatever you do, do it in order, because it's like building blocks, and I build one thing on another, and I create a huge, wonderful foundation for you so that you learn to think logically, you learn to connect dots, and you end up with an education that will save your life. I call this Menopause University because it really is like school. And you know what? Menopause is the most neglected topic on earth, even though half of the world's population spends half of their lives in the state of menopause. Isn't that crazy? And yet, it's totally neglected. And because of that, there has never, ever, 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 ever been a menopause education for women, ever. I am the first person to ever give a real education, and I'm the only person doing it. You have 10 minutes in an office visit with your doctor. They don't have time to educate you on anything in 10 minutes. And I pour myself into this and spend so much time making sure it's just right with everything I do, the podcast, the videos, the book, everything. So please, please, please take advantage of all these resources. Go to my website, menopausetailor.me. Get all the resources you can get. Learn everything you can learn. Drag your friends with you, even if they're kicking and screaming and rejecting it, which they will. Because, again, it's a very unpopular topic. But force it on all the women you love, because I guarantee you this education will save your life. This one podcast will save your life. Heart attacks in women do not look like a heart attack in a man. Okay, I have to leave you now. I will come back with the next podcast, which will be on heart attack research on men versus women. I will talk again then. Bye.